This is a video that will be given a certain reflection and propensity to those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. For those that hear my words, will understand that I'm speaking life and not spiritual death. This is not a video that is designed to further divide anybody or anything necessarily, but it is meant to bring understanding to people and insight, hopefully, as well. So, what do I mean when I say that I never believed in hell until I met her? And I didn't know heavenliness until I knew Jesus. Well, so Jesus says that those that are pure in heart will see the kingdom of God. And in the Bible, it also says that it is better to be in the corner of a housetop or something like that than to be in the middle of a house with a quarrelsome wife, right? Well, what exactly does that mean, and what exactly does that have to do with the actions of our society in today's day and age? It's amazing that the ancients also knew this kind of stuff, right? It's amazing that the ancients had this kind of knowledge and understanding. They knew about intersexual dynamics more so back then than we do now, for some reason, it seems like. And it's because women genuinely have a monopoly on public opinion. And if you don't believe me, look at the Me Too movement. There have been women that have wrongly accused men of grape, their own husbands even, just to get a divorce or just to do this or just to do that. And then you have the men that we know of that are the dogs in society, right? It's no secret. It's no secret that the men are dogs in our society, that some of them can be dogs, that is to say. But I think the reason for that is because a lot of men don't have a stabilized vision in which they're all pursuing something under. They don't have spirit and truth as their foundation in their vision. They don't have certain things like that that are perpetuating the possibility of true spiritual, not only acknowledgement but empowerment as well. And there was a time when I met a woman who was simultaneously strong, independent, and financially stable, but also a complete victim and completely oppressed. And it's amazing how women and men, more so women, can hold these juxtapositions and these contradictory themes of thought in their mind, because the pathology can sometimes be so strong with an individual, male or female, that the pathology itself can blind those to what's actually going on in reality. Because sometimes people don't want to see the reality. They just simply don't want to see it. Some people are blinded by reality because it's too much to take in. And so this woman that I knew was married, and I didn't know at the time she was married. And we had talked, and we definitely had what you would say an emotional affair, even though we didn't do anything physically. There was definitely, it was definitely an emotional affair. I will leave it at that. And I had no clue that she was married. I had no clue she actually had a family at home. But this one interaction with this woman laid the landscape of how to deal with women for the rest of my life, in all honesty. And I'm sure that the women out there have, if they've gone through a certain amount of relationships or a certain amount of men that they've dealt with, they know how to pick up whether a man is actually a decent man or not. But whether or not they're going to actually want something from that man is something completely different. But women are not stupid, okay? Women know very well what a man is capable of bringing to the table. Women pay attention to everything about you. They will pay attention to not just the things that you do and the way that you behave, but they will pay attention to the subtleties of how you do these things. I once had a woman, and this is a different woman than the one I'm going to be continuing the story with, but there was once a woman that I knew and was not necessarily dealing with, but kind of dealing with, talking to anyway. And I didn't think that she was paying too much attention to me, but when I talked to her, she was very receptive and very observant in how I did things and the way that I moved and everything like that. Like, she had been watching me, even though it didn't seem like she was watching me. She was watching me, and not in a necessarily a stalker way like some of the other women that I've been talking to in the past. But this woman was just very observant, and she was highly intelligent, but she was also, she wasn't very spiritual necessarily. She was more like a Hermione, minusing the empathy part. She was just highly calculated individual. Whereas this woman, the married woman with the family, she brought me hell to my life. I had no clue what hell was until until I met this woman. And she was someone that seemed very angelic. Right. She was very angelic, but something I noticed right off the bat was she was trying to teach me about religion. She was literally trying to teach me about religion, and man, she brought it, man. She brought religion, and it wasn't in the way that I thought. But in a way, she did bring spirit and truth, but not necessarily in the way that she meant to. It was more like the actions that she made dictated how I viewed spirit and truth. Well, so what happened exactly? Well, after about the month or 2 months of talking to this woman, I found out that she was married or in a relationship, and then I found out that she had a whole family, that she acted like she was single. Well, what happened following that? I was brought in for questioning. I was on the brink of getting arrested, and she apparently had told whoever these people were that were talking about, like, and she was telling about that I was trying to make her be invested into me in an intimate relationship because I didn't care. I just cared about her so much, and that was not the case at all. That was not the case at all. And there were some things that had happened when I was brought in for questioning that they asked me, because apparently this woman had had a history of some kind, but so that was, thank God that was on my side. The way that she portrayed men, apparently. And so when I told them exactly what happened, I said, look, this is exactly what happened. This was the way that things were laid out to me. This is the way that I see it. And they asked me basically, are you going to be interacting with her again? I said, no, I absolutely do not plan to interact with her. And they said, good, because we need to squash this behavior. And I said, well, consider it squashed. Consider it squashed, because I don't even want to be involved in this. That was the whole thing. And they were confused. They were like, wait, what? You don't want to be involved? I said, yeah, I don't want to be involved. I once I knew what was going on, I was out. And she didn't like it. So she had made up a whole story to tell these people. And she used the truth to tell lies. And for just to really recognize what women were capable of, because I didn't know really women were capable of something like this. I knew they were really smart, and I knew that there was a lot of goddess energy, right, that they could portray. But I didn't know they were capable of outright lying about things. And it was funny, immediately after that experience, which was a few years ago, this was like 3 to 4 years ago, and immediately after that experience, I realized of all the women that I've dealt with in the past before that were just as much living in a fantasy. Like this is what women do. They live in fantasies. They tell fantasies, or they tell each other comfortable lies. And if you've noticed, a lot of the times women will compliment each other, and then as soon as the one woman leaves, the other girl will turn to her girlfriend and be like, "Oh, that was an ugly outfit. I can't believe she wore that." Like, they will lie straight to each other's faces about these things. And I've seen women that completely try to steal another woman's man because she just wants him. She's like, "Well, I want that one." See, men, when we see a good relationship, we see, oh, we want a relationship like that. We don't say we want that woman. We want that woman. No, 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 no. But with women, that's the way it is. Okay, so how did that bring me to Jesus? Well, it did bring me to Jesus, seeing the complete dark side of this woman. And there's even details that I'm not even going to be going into all at once, because I don't want a lot of this. I don't want too much details to be put out into the YouTubeverse or on the internet, because I want to maintain a certain amount of confidential information about the people that were involved. But even though some of them were completely evil and chaotic actions, they were dealt with accordingly. And it is what it was. What it was. Now is now, and things happened, but it was dealt with. So how did this bring me to Jesus? Well, it showed me that Jesus really is the way, the truth, and the life. It showed me that, because I was operating in a pure heart state. I was operating from a place of really trying to make something happen. My intentions were genuine. And almost always, I don't think I've ever done, now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't think I've ever thought about something or being involved with someone like not trying to actually make something happen. I've never done that, where I've seen countless women do that with men. I've seen countless women do that. And I'm not saying it's all women, but it's a lot. It's a lot, okay? And so I'm just telling you guys this story because I want you to understand that this is kind of stuff that can happen. And I didn't even get the worst of it. I recognize that. And that was another reason why I was brought closer to Jesus, was because I realized, holy crap, I could have actually gone to jail over this. I could have actually gone to jail because of somebody else's pure lies, because they didn't like that they were being rejected. As a married person, like as a person with a family, I could have gone to jail, but I thank God I didn't. But because I didn't even know, I didn't know how was I supposed to know? But anyway, it showed me that on the other side of that sorrow is true wisdom, and the ability to grow with Christ is really going to be the greatest blessing. And even though there was a lot of hardship within that, and my life was a living hell for just a couple months after that, trying to work things out and really understand what happened, and trying to maneuver appropriately, I made it out on the other side a stronger, more healthy individual, and that was really the best thing that I could ask for in that situation. So with all that being said, I hope this information was useful and insightful, and until next time, peace be with you.